building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt the glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven, it found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. Best friend to 23. I heard the heavens crying above me. They gained an angel, I lost a friend. I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me through. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend. Inside your self-righteous symphony, I would rather let this go than to bring it up again.
Yeah. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the live edition of the Burly Fishing Podcast. We have missed you all so much. See, Cheers. It's been a minute. We had a holiday. Things went down. But now we're back, and I'm super pumped about it. So I'm going to be live here. I got my co-host Paul coming along for the ice fishing journey. So if you guys don't ice fish, don't worry about it. You're just going to learn about how fun it is, and you're going to want to make a trip up north and enjoy the great outdoors when it's cold. It's enjoyable. Trust me. It's fine. It's going to be fun. We're going to talk to you about things you should maybe consider if you want to go ice fishing, if you want to get into it, things to think about, things to help you have fun. We're going to talk about how to have fun. It's not as miserable as you might think, just because you're thinking like, oh, okay, you sit on a bucket on a frozen pond and you do this for hours at a time. It's actually much more fun than that. We'll tell you why. We'll share some stories. We'll talk the talk tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, hey, make sure that you got your pops and you're ready to hang out, because that's what we're going to do tonight. By the way, if you like the show, of course, subscribe to the YouTube, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, subscribe anywhere you listen to podcasts. Drop us a 5-star review, and that helps us out a lot. And anything else? This is enough shout outs. All right, let's get into it. five more stars, and then 5 stars, and then 5 more stars. Got it.
Episode question. This is a throwback to 2 weeks ago. Technically, I think in real time, 3 weeks ago.
We called it out, yeah.
It was called out. The question that came up in the live was, what are your top beef jerkies? We had to keep it to 3. I was like, we cannot just go top jerky. That's a whole episode on its own. So we're going top 3 jerkies. I'll let Jeff. Do you want to go 1 for 1?
Let's go 1 for 1. It's more fun that way.
All right. Sure. These are mine are not necessarily in order. They're all so closely up at the top. The cream has risen. Yeah. It's all good.
Mine are in a particular order, but anyway. So my number 1 would be Old Trapper Original,
the all fat snack stick,
the biggest bag
with the not natural casing. Dude, they're so good. I eat them all the time.
So good. I love it.
They're hovering. They're a bubble jerky. They're on the bubble. They're on the cusp of getting in. That's a bubble jerky for me. That's like number 4 or 5.
Not good enough.
It's close, dude. That stuff's good. And you know what? The price is right. Not that expensive.
They're so. Oh man, if you're going on a camping trip, like it's just my go-to, because you can get so much of it and enjoy it.
Your sweat smells like pork. Not all right, my number 1, and this is controversial. Duke's Hot and Spicy. Very expensive.
Yeah.
More expensive for sure.
More expensive.
A little greasy, but the you know what? It doesn't matter. They're so good. I will smack a bag of those without even trying. They're so good. And you know what? They pair well. If I was gonna like do the pairing chart, like, oh, so what would you like with your Dukes? I'd be like, I'll have a giant white monster, thank you. And there's some synergy there.
I'm sorry. Did you just say cold coffee?
Yeah, I said cold coffee.
Cold coffee.
White monster. You heard me.
Got it. Yeah. So when you guys forget your percolators and your coffee pots when you go camping, so don't stare me down.
Or when there's no Tim Hortons within like 30 miles.
There's no hot coffee to be had. So you buy extra white monsters, and those are cold coffees. That's how you get through. All right, I'll pull mine up since I want this to be controversial. So I'm gonna say Duke's green chili.
Overrated.
Chat, let's hear it from you.
They're good, but they're overrated. It's an overrated flavor. There's not enough heat.
Flavor.
It doesn't have any heat. I don't want to hear it.
It has enough heat, and it's enjoyable. And
all right, I'm going for my number 2. So I just want to be really clear. Snack sticks are superior to like baked or dried jerky.
Sure.
I love dried jerky. I make it all the time. It's good. I make it. I like it. I eat it. But let's be clear, snack sticks are superior. So the top 3 is all top to bottom. It's pork and beef sticks. That's it. So my number 2 is the Tillamook Original, $9.99 for the giant bag. I think it's like a quarter pound.
Yep.
Oh, delicious. The casing is not like that big thick cake. No, it's just delicious meat. And it's a good value. So yeah, nope. And you can get there. It's everywhere. It's all over the place. Look for the yellow bag. It's so good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So my next is like it's a bigger brand, so it's gonna get poo-pooed by some, but nah. But I'm gonna throw it out there anyways. So Jack's Link's pepper.
Are you talking the cracked pepper? Is that what we're talking about?
Is there two different pepper flavors? Am
I know I've never heard of just pepper. I think it's cracked.
Just pepper.
Cracked.
Sure, cracked pepper, whatever. The pepper flavor. Anyways, the reason it's on my list is it's more nostalgic. It's more like I went on trips with my dad. Peppered. Okay, fair. This is like fishing and road trips with my dad was the pepper jerky. Always had it. That was actually like the only jerky he ever bought. Yeah, I'm not kidding. That's when you like stick by your flavors. You're like,
nope, my guy.
Nope. He's like, there's no other jerkies out there. Never heard of them. No other brands.
Dude, never heard of her.
Never heard of her. It was only peppered. So we always had it. So that's, I mean, it brings back memories. It's enjoyable. Good.
And of the dried jerkies, that is actually top of the top is the kippered. And then peppered is like right below that. They're on point. Fair. All right, my number 3, and this one maybe not everyone has had because this is sort of maybe a Michigan thing. Dearborn sausage, Dearborn, Michigan, Dearborn hot. And this is the Hunter sausage hot.
Yes,
the hottest of the hot, absolutely delicious. Homemade venison jerky. Chaz threw that up. Hard agree. I make mine when I do mine. I like a good amount of pork fat in there because I think it softens it up. But it also I don't know what it is about that pork, but I do jalapeno powder, homemade jalapeno powder in mine. Oof. So I take jalapenos, you dry them in the sun, you put them, everything, seeds and all, the whole thing, the stem, all of it. You put that in like a food processor, and you get that as fine as possible to the point where when you look into the thing, the little particulates melt your eyeballs. Like that's where you want it to be. And then you mix that into your jerky, and oh man, that is like, it's just like, that's a deadly combo. But not everyone has access. You can't get that at the store. So we're keeping it at the store-bought level. I will give you my flaming garbage take though. I don't care what anybody says. I'm willing to fight. I will bring weapons.
Chad, get ready. Get ready.
Teriyaki's trash. Garbage. Garbage. Teriyaki sucks. Won't buy it. I don't care. I don't know. When I see someone eat that, it's like I'm watching. Do you remember the original Men in Black, where he's like, sugar in water, and like that's how they know he's an alien. I watch you eat the teriyaki. I'm like, bro, get off my planet.
Oh man, shots fired for anybody who likes teriyaki.
So, I don't care.
I've been known to dabble. I'm not gonna fight you on it because it's not worth fighting for, but I've been known to dabble in it.
All right, that's what I got for you. So Jeff, right. What's not on your list, Jeff?
What's not on my list? Oh, my worst. Have you guys had salmon jerky? It's by that brand Epic. It's got to be hands down. Does it have like raisins in it or something like that? Yes. I was getting to that point. So Epic, the brand, right? They make bags of jerky now, but they started by making meat bars. But the problem is, and just let that simmer in, I guess. We're talking about jerky. A meat bar is not jerky. It's not even close. It's not on the same planet. It's not the same. It's just a bar of just packed in meat. And the problem that I think Paul also has with it is they put fruit in it. So it's like just
it was like meat. Figs. Yeah. The problem I have is that when you go in, they're like, we'll trade you this meat slab thing, which sounds like a good deal until they ask for a gold slab in return, and you're like, this is $6 for 4 bites? Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Pound sand.
Gross. Chris Shue says fruity spam. I think that about sums it up.
I think you're there.
I think it does. Oh my gosh.
All right.
Oh, Fish in the Southeast wants everybody to know about his Christmas tree idea. He made a Christmas tree where he hung up a bunch of lures on it. He shared it with me on Instagram.
Oh.
I said, great idea. Have kids.
There it is. And we're back. Because my kid literally is just fondling Christmas gifts Christmas ornaments right now. I'm like, these are all made of glass and porcelain. Don't grab that.
Smash.
No.
Don't let them do it.
Cool thing if you're under 22. So let's do the check-in. Chaz has a cat, would be eating lures, not ideal. All swim baits. Do they even make trees that can support your baits, Chaz? Or do,
he
do
puts
the
his,
branches just go down because it's all swim baits?
Charlie
Like
Brown
4
tree
ounces. All right, weekly
One.
check-in. Jeff, I know you've got a litany of things. Do you wanna hit him with the tidal wave?
I'll try to be quick with this. So we got some news, two newses, and then some other things. So the first news is that I told you guys before we wouldn't work with the company if we didn't trust them, try their products, like the things that they do, talk to them for a while first. And we've been having a conversation with one for a while, and recently just partnered up with Waterland sunglasses. So I'm actually pretty pumped about this. It's coming just in time for winter because you guys are going to find out sunglasses are hyper important when it comes to reflective ice and snow. So you're not blind. So we partnered up with them. They're sending me some shades. We're going to do a big unboxing because we got some apparel. We got a ton of stuff. They're
going to back a van up and just like
just t-shirt cannon, just
ooh.
The sunglasses too. No, it'd be dangerous. They're durable. It's fine. So we're going to unbox them. We're going to wear them. We're going to put them through the test this winter. And I think you guys are going to like them. And if you do, or if you want anything as far as like apparel, hats, sunglasses, whatever, you can help us out and yourself out and use our discount code. It's all caps Burly10, Burly 10. You can use that on their website and it'll save you 10%. And we get a kickback too, which goes forward to all the gear I buy. You guys see, I buy a ton of tackle. Everybody's like, how many jobs do you have to buy all these tackles? And I'm like, I got one job to pay for all these tackles. So yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. It would help us get more products. And of course, it helps fuel the giveaway, as I've been telling you guys too. I appreciate you, first of all, so much for helping us crack that 10K recently. We're already almost over 11K now. Like, things are going great. So I appreciate you guys so much. But this helps us as we grow. Like, the more funds the channel gets from the podcast, from the YouTube channel, etc., the bigger the giveaways can get. Somebody was actually joking with me. Comment, like, somebody says, what are you gonna do when you get to 1 million? And I was like, I don't know, give away a bass boat. Like,
which house do you want?
No, they said, good question. Oh, where is it good at? I will type it in chat right now. So the code is good at waterlandco.com, right there in chat. So go check them out. They make cool shit.
And then
post my code. Thank you, sir. Chaz is talking to you guys. Whenever I'm just silently listening to the man in my ear, that's the man behind the camera, our producer, Chaz. Just a heads up, anybody new to the show.
Chaz like, suck, bro.
He's currently just holding up like a clothing rack of swim baits. He's got $4,000 in swim baits. You guys can't see him.
It, obviously.
They are amazing. So anyways, so, go check out Waterland. Again, like I said, any kickbacks we get to the channel. We also have super chat function in chat. That all goes directly towards gear and giveaways. So it's going back to you guys in some fashion. That's what we aim to do. That's what we like doing. That's why we got into this thing in the first place. It's for you guys. It's for the community. It's so that Paul and I can do stuff in fishing forever, hopefully. We'll see where it goes. All right. So that happened. We do also have hats. People keep asking me this. Hats are dropping on monsterbass.com.
Is this what the kids do?
I think so. I don't have a bill. So anyways, the hat that Paul is wearing, a variation of that with probably better stitching. We'll see. It's an improved hat. We'll be dropping on monsterbass.com in the next couple weeks. So stay tuned. I'll announce it, IG, all that jazz. I got a couple cool shipments from a company called Akuma, little tiny baby company out of Ontario, Canada. It's a pretty great company. They also own Fish Labs. They also have their own line. So they have baits, line, rods, and reels. So they sent me a rod and reel. You can see the unboxing. You can get a sneak peek on Instagram. Did a little video there if you want to see it. And some huge speed wakes, like a gigantic speed wake and then like a regular size speed wake, like a 110. So that's pretty sweet. I already got to fish the 110. It was rad. You got some videos coming your guys' way on that topic. What else? Yeah, well, the rest of it are kind of covered. Fishing with James. Oh, no. not the chartreuse. Unfortunately, it's sold out everywhere because it's the most popular gosh dang color. No, the the Chaz is wearing the chartreuse hat right now. He's pointing to it, but you guys can't see.
Charles, like, check it out, bro.
He's just messing with us now. I know what he's doing. I know what you're doing. No, the color that'll drop, we'll change colors up over time, but like the ones, they're super limited stock. The hats that will be in stock are like what Paul is wearing right there. So same color logo. It's like a charcoal, grayish, blackish front with a black mesh. It looks good. You guys will look good in it, and you'll catch a lot of fish with it. Fishing with James says no. One day I'll bring back the chartreuse, my friend.
Bro,
one day.
He's like, bye.
He's like,
James,
no. Dramatically falling off. Yeah, Chris Hughes says it'll be dope. That's what Rick would say. That's our homeboy. He just finished his live abusing Max, R.I.P. Max over there.
R.I.P. Happy birthday, and also you're maybe fired. I watched a video like maybe a week or two ago of Rick doing like one of his unboxings. He's like, "This bait is what I would call dope," and I'm like, I can't tell if he knows it or he doesn't know it, but he keeps doing it. It was good. All right.
Yeah, I think that's all I got really. Other than that, we're doing a lot of organizing, and when I organize, I buy stuff because I'm like, oh man, I could really use like. No, I literally just did this the other day. I was organizing my tackle, and I go, I don't have enough tackle boxes. Paul will disagree. I don't. So I bought 2 more Busbies, the 3700 size, the Colony 28s, and I got the specialized terminal box. It's like an option they have now. Yeah, it's like 2 rows of the 1x1s, and then the rest is like the 1x2s.
Yep.
And then I got a Colony 28 with all the full length boxes. So jerk baits, swim baits.
That's my jam, dude. That's the only way to roll. I bought extras just so I could do that.
I love it. Yeah, so there's gonna be some extra stuff coming in. What's this? We got some questions in chat. All right, well, I'm done with my wrap up. We'll get to yours in a second because I know you've been spending some time in the basement. I want to hit real quick a couple in here. So we got Fishing with James says Busby Colony 15 is dope. I just don't really use them anymore because even when I'm bank fishing, I have a big backpack. I can take 3,700 size boxes, so I just take those. So I can take less boxes, more stuff. But
I use the small size that is that size. When Jeff and I hit the water, it's actually really convenient when there's like a limited amount of tackle that we're going to be using. So if we're fishing like 2 boxes when we go out, and I know that's like what I want to use, and I don't want to be digging around and looking for a bunch of stuff, like it's a nice way to be zeroed in on exactly what I need. I also use 2 smaller boxes, and I have one that's like just top water, like my top, like, you know, my go-to top waters. And then I have another one that's just all Ned rig stuff. So I keep all my Ned heads in there, and I keep like all the colors that I like, standard colors that I use. I keep all those actually in one box, separate from all my other plastics. So I do use sizes like that. It just depends on how you fish. Jeff takes the whole battleship out, so it's very rare that Jeff needs anything that's like not, you know, gigantic.
It's funny, we both have the Hobie H crate as our crate in the back, and Paul's carries like 2 boxes laying flat, and then he puts his Yeti cooler with our food and drink on top of it, and then he has like 2 boxes up front in his H-rail bucket, and I have 2 boxes in the bucket, as well as the crate is side to side full. So I usually take like 8
little boxes. Library back there.
I have no excuses. I'm a terrible person. All right, so real quick, Haley Barnes says, isn't 6 Cents pairing up with Waterland? Answer, yes, they are, because they're the same company. So this is the really cool thing about this, is that working with Waterland opens up some doors with 6 Cents, where we are partnered with Monster Bass right now as far as the subscription boxes go. 6 Cents has a subscription box. We're not trying to compete or do any of that. So this was a cool way that we could work with them, because I think they're awesome, and I wanted to find a way to do that. Plus, they got a ton of cool anglers that fish for them. I don't know if you guys know that, so I might try and like just creep into their Instagram DMs and be like, hey, you want to hang out sometime and go fish and stuff?
What's up, guy?
What's up? I'm here now too, bro. So I don't know. It'll be some fun. And then we had, I think, a question a little while back was Cody Brink. What is your opinion on Googans, man? This question
No, we need
Comes
to get
up
this tattooed.
so
We
often.
get it tattooed right here. Be like, bro, you want to know?
No, it's like your answer. Chaz, what did you say? What did you say in chat? Oh, so I'll, yeah, I'm gonna agree with Chaz on this. Chaz is saying he didn't like. He said this in the chat. He didn't like the plastics because of their durability versus the price. So I will say, like, I like the plastics and I think they catch fish. They are not durable. End of story. And I mean, like, you're gonna find that with lots of different plastics. So I feel like there's this world in the fishing community right now where people think you're either pro Guggen or anti Guggen.
Yeah.
And I live on this island in the middle. We'll call it Switzerland. And it's where I live. And I say, these guys are fine. Like, I don't see the problem. I'm not trying to start a war with them.
We covered this 2 weeks ago. And it was like, the answer is always going to be the same. Like, their stuff's good. It's in my boat. Yep. The rattle and net is like my favorite example because that's probably one of the best. That's one of my favorite things that they make. When they come out with new stuff, we're gonna go get it and we're gonna go fish it. There are some things where I'm just like, meh, like the frogs. They're good. They're good. I'll use them. There's some stuff that I just don't like. There are plastics where I'm like, I can get this same plastic in any other bag for less money, or get it in Z-Man and potentially have it last longer. And so it's all good. Like, it's all fine. There's just nothing that I'm like, I don't go searching for it where I'm like, I must have that. Like, I must go right now. Guggen is like it's not like a Zoom trick worm where I'm like, I'm just going to always have a bag of it because I love to fish it, or whatever it happens to be for you. Like, it's just whatever, right?
Everyone has their Zoom trick worm.
Yeah, everyone has their thing. And it just so happens that, like, I don't really have any of those that are Guggen.
I mean, yeah, so it's fair. It's like, I have a bunch of them. I fish them. I don't fish them all the time. I think they're fine. They're not something that I would, like, go find in the clearance aisle or anything. Like, I don't. No. I mean, no, I wouldn't. But they are fine. So anyways, moving on from there, we've got Buckemouth Baffin asked a few questions. So we had, he wants me to say that Carl's Bait and Tackle is having a Cyber Week sale. Carl's Bait and Tackle is having a Cyber Week sale. And then a few people are asking about the Guggen clickbait. So here's the deal, you guys.
We talked about this too.
Yeah, I think it is really cool looking. I think the idea is cool. I think it may work out well, and I want to fish it really bad. Guess what? I already bought 3 of them, and I don't have them yet. I bought them on the 22nd of November, and they're currently somehow, I checked my shipping. They went to Illinois, then somehow Grand Rapids in like 2 hours, then back to Illinois. And the problem is it's the UPS transferring to USPS, and that's what happened. This is the second time I've had this happen this year with Carl's. It hasn't happened like a ton, but yeah, one time they lost my box. It disappeared for 45 days. I worked with the U.S. Postal System to get my box back, and Carl's hooked me up and sent me a box to replace it. So I got 2 things, right? All the 2 of everything that I had ordered. And now I'm hoping they just find my box. So we'll see if it makes it here at some point in time. But I do have some clickbaits on the way, as well as a few other things that I picked up from the Black Friday week sale, because that's when I bought it all. So I don't know how it is. I think it looks great, like I said, but I haven't fished it.
It looks like it would be something that I want to try. That's the
sure.
That's where I'm at right now. I absolutely want to try it. It looks cool. There's not a lot of like innovations on those. Like just typically happen, just like see new stuff coming out. So seeing something that's new, absolutely want to fish it.
Yeah. So whenever I get it, as long as there's no ice, I'm going to go cast it around a little bit. I probably won't catch anything. If I do, it'd be awesome. But I'll tell you guys how it performs. I'll do an unboxing, like all the above that I normally do. So you can expect that whenever it drops. All right. So then we had Brianno says, I've got this on big screen. Big screen, like when you stuck your face in the camera. Sorry, Brian.
Welcome, guy.
He says, does Paul have a beard? Oh, is that why you stuck your face in the camera?
So now
technically he does have a beard. I love how you did it out of context, and you didn't tell anybody what you were doing. You just
he knew.
Put your face
this is not for everyone.
This
Chaz was in it.
Just for Brianno. I love it.
Sorry, Jeff can't keep up with the questions.
Oh, no, I'm trying to answer some of them as we go. You guys are blowing me up. I love this. Keep doing it. Keep asking questions. If we don't respond to your question right away, just post it again, and Chaz will catch it. And if it's dumb, Chaz will ignore it.
The camera.
There are no dumb questions. Just ask away, guys. It's a lot of fun. All right, so we got. If it's a funny question, that's the only ones that make it through. I like it.
I saw a couple of questions on Speed Spool, and I saw a couple of questions on the Lose tournament. Speed Spool, I'll do them. I should just start doing this, like 10 being like the most expensive, like DC that you can get. 1 being like the bait caster in your garage that doesn't work right now. The Speed Spool's probably like a 6. Which is like pretty high. And then I would actually put the tournament LF on LFS like maybe at a 7 or an 8. It's like one of the reels that like I really need to get on a rod. Like what I'll tell you right now, like I don't operate on the same spot as Jeff, like plane of existence as Jeff. I'm a little bit lower when it comes to gear. I like things that just work well, and like I just don't like spending money. So the really expensive fancy version actually is that tournament version of that reel that you were talking about. I want that reel, the LFS, and I want it on a TFO Tactical Bass Elite 7 foot. That's like that would be like a setup that I dream about right now. So yes, would recommend. Very high quality.
Love it. And then Fishing with James is asking about the Lose MB collaboration. Did I miss this part of the live? I saw some like stuff in the chat. I jumped onto the Monster Bass live for like 5 seconds. I saw some stuff in chat saying like Monster Bass rods. Is that a thing? Because Rick doesn't tell us stuff until like
I have not heard this. Well, because they just didn't Lose just come out. Like they finally you can actually get the KVD stuff now.
Yeah, they just dropped a bunch. There's a lot of giveaways going on right now. KVD is doing one. A few other guys have gotten the rod and reels, and they're giving them away. So I guess anybody in chat, if you know something I don't know before Rick just called me. I had to ignore it because we're on a podcast. So maybe he'll tell me later. But let me know if there's a collaboration going on. I have no idea. Moving on. Favorite.
Oh wait, whoa.
Okay,
hold, please.
Go ahead.
If there is one, yes.
Yes, then yeah.
Exclamation point.
Yes, definitely. Let's do one more, and then we got to get to some show stuff here. So, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, picking this one. What is the Tony Cromer says? What is the longest time you've had to wait for the Monster Bass subscription to arrive once you ordered it? Wow, glad I picked this one so I can do customer service for Monster Bass. Probably would be a better question for you, Paul, since Jeff has been getting his more early. Oh, okay. Chaz says this.
So my answer to that, before ever working with Monster Bass, it's been 2 weeks. Now that like it totally varies by region, and it totally varies by like time of year. Like right now, everyone with the exception of Amazon, and this is part of the industry that I work in, they're paying drivers way different than other people, and they're using third-party drivers. I've never heard a commercial for Amazon to try and get truck drivers to drive their own trailers. I've just not heard that. That you can hear that almost anywhere on like SiriusXM right now, because they're trying to get more drivers to make sure they can meet the demand to hit 2-day shipping at like peak time of year. Right now, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, leading up into Christmas, this is like peak time. So if you're getting a delay, you're probably getting a delay everywhere. I can tell you right now, companies like Wayfair, right after their holiday sales, they get crushed. Companies like Best Buy get absolutely annihilated because they won't pay top dollar for freight. So it kind of like where you are in the hierarchy of freight and how easy or difficult your items are to ship dictates essentially where you fall on the hierarchy of drivers. Mm-hmm. And right now, just so everybody is like kind of aware, right now, if you're like a truck driver, there's actually so many truck drivers because the industry has kind of gone downhill. There's a lot of them retiring. It's actually more retiring than there are coming in. It's been like that for over 5 or 6 years. And so finding reliable trucking right now, they're having to pay those drivers more. It's still a cramped industry. And so companies like Amazon that are paying a premium, that's how they get that 2-day shipping. That's how they do it all the time. They pay their drivers differently. They have a whole different workforce. Every other company that has to work with USPS, FedEx, whoever, it's a totally different scenario. So where you are in the country and the time of year It's not necessarily Monster Bass's fault, just like it's not necessarily MTB's fault that USPS and UPS are having some system issues. I experienced the same thing. It just is what it is.
Things happen. Yo, Gary Nordby dropping $4.99 with a little emoji. How's it going?
Oh, how's that?
Thank you so much, buddy, for the donation here. You are fantastic.
Agreed.
That's super chat, you guys. You get that's fantastic, Gary. Thank you so much, brother. That is awesome. And like I said, stuff like that is what goes towards the sub boxes and all this other stuff that we get to unbox on the channel, man. So I appreciate it. That's awesome. Yeah, kind of, wrapping up on the shipping. Shipping sucks right now, you guys. Sorry. But the cool thing is, here's the one thing. I'll leave this on this because we got to talk ice fishing today. I got a story for you guys from a subscriber. So we're going to do that here in a second for our heavy hook sets edition. But real quick, if you're not getting your stuff on time, like legitimate 2 weeks is passed, right? And you're getting frustrated, you should probably contact the support team at that company. And I'll tell you how to determine if you're working with a good company or not. It's not whether or not they got a bunch of super cool celebrity fisher people. They're like, this place is great. It's if the customer service is awesome. So I want you guys just, whoever asked that question, what was it? Tony. So Tony, like if you want to email Monster Bass, support at monsterbass.com, then go email them and they'll get back to you because I know that they're good at it. I know the team that works there and I think they're all awesome. I have dealt with too many companies in the past month that you'll hear about on videos upcoming that do not respond. I do want to real quick apologize for mentioning a company on Black Friday's episode, Fishing Care Package. Please, I said it seemed sketchy. I'm just going to say right here, be cautious about ordering from them. They do not respond to customer service. I'm telling you this from firsthand experience. I ordered a reel. When was that? November 12th?
4 weeks ago?
It was the 12th.
4 weeks ago? Mid-November?
I emailed them again today. So I've emailed them like 4 or 5 times, and I have had zero contact from them. So please, I'm just going to say right now, I don't trust them anymore. Don't order from them. All right.
The first week that I got back into getting a tackle box subscription, I emailed Monster Bass because I wanted to get mine as early as possible, and I literally had an email within an hour of when I emailed them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that they just like magically fixed everything and fixed the shipping industry, but they were like, "Here's the scenario. Here's what we can do for you. We want to do a good job." So
yeah,
for what it's worth,
check with customer service, and if you're unsure of a company before you order from them, check out BBB, the Better Business Bureau, and maybe check YouTube, because had I checked YouTube, I would have found out Fishing Care Package scam videos are a thing. There are a lot of them. And that's a problem that that company is not dealing with that head on. I have not seen a single response from them on any of those videos or in my emails. So again, I apologize for even mentioning them. Won't do it again. And maybe if it turns out to be the scam that it sounds like it is, I will do a pre-Black Friday stop buying stuff from them video every year just to make sure you don't get caught up in the amazing deals that they're posting, because it's nonsense. So yeah, I did want to throw that in there. It's in there. Now let's talk about ice fishing.
We get to do that, or do we want to do heavy hook sets?
Oh man, we got a story. We do.
Bro, hurry up, let's go.
All right, the story's quick though, so
I gotta get down to my basement, get back to the freaking slit, like what I got going on down there.
This is a lovely story. Let me tell it. All right. Anyways, so this is from a listener, Dominic. Sent us in a couple weeks ago. So like I told you guys, if you want to be a part of the heavy hook sets, there's only 2 things you got to do. One, if you want a picture featured, tag us on Instagram at BurlyFishing. You can also send us the picture and a story if you want it attached, which I will bullet point and then read not verbatim, just so you guys know. I will retell it in my own way. You can email that to us, podcast@burlyfishing.com. Super easy. Yeah, Chaz is gonna write it in chat because I always forget if there's an S or not.
Podcast, sir.
But anyway, so this story is from Dominic. Dominic sent us a picture of his daughter holding up her first bass, and this is awesome. So this is his 6-year-old daughter. She basically got him back into fishing, and this is kind of like the story that I love, because I was distant from fishing for a long time. Posted a picture on Instagram the other day. Growing up, my dad fished a lot. I was always around him fishing, and then I just didn't fish for I don't know, 18 years. And then I got back into fishing. So long time of not fishing, back into it now. So happy that I'm back. So it's cool to see that after, he said, 24 years,
Dang.
he got back into it, started fishing with his friends, with his family, with his daughter. So that's amazing to hear. Picture's awesome. Bass looks awesome as well with her holding it. She looks stoked to have it as well. But yeah, so just having a good time, falling back in love with this thing. Now he's fishing 5 to 6 days a week before work, which is hashtag the dream. And that is, like I said, that picture is her first bass. So congrats to her. Awesome story. Thanks for sending that in, Dominic. Again, if you guys want to be a part of this, send that stuff in. Let's do this. And now we get to talk about ice fishing. All right, let's go.
Oh, cool.
Bro,
no,
it's
we don't.
only
There's
been
an Instagram giveaway going on right now.
Oh, yeah.
Ends in 2 days.
If you guys have
God dang,
Instagram,
Jeff. This is what...
if you guys have Instagram, I posted 2 days ago. It ends in 2 more days. There's a picture with a whole bunch of, stuff, tackle on
Cool
my
stuff.
table, cool things, and a monster bass box. So go comment on that post. Just tag a friend. No fishing YouTubers.
Jeez.
Yeah. So yeah, there's also hat, t-shirt, sticker. Paul, why don't you just drop this information? Anyways, go to Instagram. If you don't have an Instagram, get an Instagram. Go to Instagram. Do a comment on that post. There you go. And you got another chance to win. And then next week, we will drop the November recap giveaway. So that video drops next week. Same thing. Be a subscriber. Comment on that. And you got a chance to win some stuff.
We're done now? Are we done now?
Now,
30? Are we done now? All
now
right, cool, man. All the grandmothers already went to bed, bro. All right. Oh, yeah, we don't care about grandmas? We care about grandmas on the show, Jeff. Jeez. All right, so here we go. But look, I understand this is ice fishing that we want to talk about today, and some of you may not be able to participate. This is like, well, we want to kick off a revolution here, all right? Bass fishermen in general, they kind of look at ice fishing and they're like, you dummy, what's wrong with you? And you're like, you're sitting on a bucket staring at a hole. You having a good time? You're like, actually, yeah, it's awesome. So we're gonna like justify a little bit. We'll do a little bit of explanation. We'll do a little explanation, little give and take here. So I want to start with, first of all, it is fun. I know it doesn't look fun, and when you boil it down to its most basic elements, it sounds awful. It sounds god awful.
You're selling it really well. Right
I know. You got to start.
I know it looks bad.
Down here. Now we're about to go on the roller coaster straight up. Look, there's beer involved. Look, we're already up here. See?
Pops.
We were down here. Now there's
There
beer
are pops
involved. We're up here. Look, it's just one of these things. It's a very social thing. It can absolutely be as fishing centered as you want. But it's absolutely like just a fun thing to do. Now, like, is there cold involved? Yes. It's chilly. Though the thing you're walking on is like 6 inches of ice.
But there's ways to get around that. Like, you don't have to be cold. You kind of choose to be cold.
You can choose to be frigid, or you can choose to have a lot of fun. So you go out with your buddies. You get a pop-up shelter. You go out on a day that's just nice. I mean, like, my favorite days. I was telling Jeff about this earlier. Like, we were talking about this. Like when I think about like the best ice fishing day, I'm thinking about a day when it's like 45. I'm out in like bibs, boots, a hoodie, and a hat, and I'm very comfortable, no gloves. I'm not chilly at all. We're not talking about a lot of wind. Sunny day, bluebird. And you can just imagine, just take your bank angler brain, right? And then just think about this. You're on the bank. You're stuck on the bank. You want to cast to the middle. No, I'll just walk out there, and I'll go fish it. Dude, like, it's awesome.
It's pretty amazing.
Where do I want to go today? I'll go over there. Screw it. I'll go over there. Do I want to bring my dog? Yeah, no problem. Don't need a boat. Do I want to bring my friends? You can bring your friends. Do you want to bring a 6-pack? I'll bring a 12-pack. Like, it's all good. You can do whatever you want. You can take your 4-wheeler out there. You drive out there with a little tiny house on a sled. You get in your little house, flip on the heater, put your little YouTube TV machine on, watch BurlyFishing, enter a giveaway, and then jig yourself up some walleye and then go eat them for dinner. What more do you really want? I'm not really sure what you don't ask me, because that sounds awesome. So it absolutely can be fun. Yes, there's obviously some gear and money and time and effort involved, but it's a really great way to just like be outside and enjoy some fishing in the middle of hard water. So I want to talk gear though. So I want to talk tackle, because there's a lot of things, like if you never ice fish, that make no sense. First things that make no sense. You see dudes reeling in 40 some odd inch pike on a 26-inch rod. This makes no sense. So, like, first of all, why? Second of all, like your general rods are going to be anywhere between 8 inches and like 28 inches. Now they absolutely can go to like the 3-4 foot range, especially if you're fishing for like lake trout in like 200 feet of water, because you're going to need a bigger spool and you're going to need a little bit more horsepower for a fish that big. But in general, you're getting these, like most of my rods, 14 inches. That's kind of like 14 to 18 is kind of like my go-to. There's a really important reason for that. First and foremost, space in a shanty. You dig a couple of holes, you get a couple of guys, a little pop-up, you're in like a 6x6 box. You don't want a 4-foot rod. You feel me? So that's one thing. Second, and this is the most important thing, everything in ice fishing is about sensitivity. There's dudes that, like, when you get those handles and you see the handles on like really high quality rods, you'll be like, why does that have a foam handle? Because foam is actually relatively rigid, and all those little vibrations actually transmit to the rod blank really, really well. A lot of guys, like the high-end guys, they actually have graphic palm reels. And so you're literally just touching the end of the rod. It's just graphite. There's no like comfort scenario here. You want to feel every little tick, tick, tick.
There's no really camera on Paul. He's gone. Can they hear him? Can you hear Paul?
As long as you can hear me. So
all right, he's from the beyond.
The other thing is
we've been here before.
Yeah. The other deal is when the water under the ice in mid-season, it's very, very clear. All that sediment is dropped way down. The water is very thin. There's a lot of oxygen in it. And so what you're seeing is you got to use really light test line on really small lures, because fish aren't necessarily putting out the energy to go chase other bait fish. They're eating like little plankton and little tiny little microorganisms that are floating around, little bugs, emergers, worms, whatever, like really tiny, tiny things. So that's what you're imitating. So if you have this big old 15-pound braid on like something that's half the size of your pinky nail, that line is going to actually scare away a lot of fish. And so like I use 3-pound test. It's like angel hair straight down. You really, really need the sensitivity, and then you can't have a big rod because you're not going to feel it on that light of test. So you get these really small rods. That is half the fun. When you catch like a bluegill like the size of your hand or bigger on a 10-inch rod, it's so much fun. And then when you catch like 50 of them in a day, and you just fill the bucket.
Amazing.
So much fun. When you get into a pike.
Oof.
Where it's a whole other episode where I want to cover tip-ups. But here's the other thing about ice fishing. The thing that can be so much fun about ice fishing is with a tip-up, which is essentially just like a spool that sits on top of the ice hole that you dug, and then there's a line that goes under it with live bait attached to it, and there's a little flag. You put the flag down, and it's basically a mouse trap. Something takes the bait, flag goes up, you do a little and then you go run, and you go reel, and then this is the best part. You go down, you grab the line, like the actual line that the fish is attached to, and you just stand up as fast as possible. That's you setting the hook, and then you reel the sucker in by hand.
Amazing.
Words cannot explain. When you get a big, huge like pike or a giant walleye on a tip up, and you're just reeling it in by hand with this nylon line, it is so much fun. The first video of anything I ever caught on tip up is me just giggling for like a minute and a half. It's fantastic.
I have it. Was that the one on hot dogs, or was that another one?
I can't confirm, actually. I'm pretty sure that was on another fish that I caught.
Yeah. I do remember you. I got this Snapchat of you running with a pike in hand, like you're gonna chuck it like a football. You're just like, it worked, and then you just go add it to the pile, and you drop it and turn your camera, and there's like 30 fish.
Yeah, dude.
On the ice.
So, and that was
hilarious.
And that's me by myself. So much fun. So that's your general rods. Just think a regular rod, just like very tiny, 8 to less than 30 inches. That's kind of like your standard ice fishing rod length. Reels, you get your generic spinning reels. I use actually just some of my ultralights on like anything 20 inches or longer. They work just fine. My favorite is definitely an inline, and by inline, imagine like a fly fishing reel. That's basically what it is. Now, the reason I like those is they tend to not freeze up. So when you get a lot of water on your line and you're reeling up constantly, they'll freeze together. That happens a lot less often on an inline rod. There's also a hair more sensitivity because with an inline where the line point comes in, you can have your finger right on it, and you actually get a little more sensitivity with one of those. The super version of that, a very simple version of that, is what they call a palm reel. Now, a palm reel is a smaller reel. It fits inside the palm of your hand, and you're literally like attached to the reel as just like a 6 or 8 inch stick, and that is your rod as well. That is the most sensitive thing you're going to find for catching panfish. Nothing is more fun. It is just like if you could take your like finger and have 3 of them and then just fish with it. That's as sensitive as it's ever going to be in life. It is fantastic. And I really need to get my own because I've never fished better than with a palm reel. Anything else on reels? I already talked line. I mean, like 6 pound test is like the highest I go, period.
Yeah. Basically, you guys can think about ice fishing as downsizing everything. Like everything's super light for the vast majority of things. And, it's super sensitive. It's smaller size baits. Like it's all of that. And I mean, we can do, more of the reason behind that, maybe a whole nother episode of what fish are doing under that ice right there, but they're not eating as much. They're lethargic. They're slow. They don't need to. Like they're conserving energy. They're cold. So, you go for the smaller stuff, and that's what they're biting. And that's why you guys often see, maybe guys down south can still fish stuff that's big through September, October, but you're going to see like Paul and I downsizing in August. Like if it's a chilly end of August, like temps are dropping. September definitely. Sure. Yeah. We are downsizing just about everything, and you're not going to see us upsize again until what, June? So it's like,
oh yeah,
we get like June, July, and August. That's where you see us throw our biggest baits and stuff. Lots of frogs because it doesn't happen
like
water here. Yeah, so something to think about. Chad said when you went off camera that you were just staying in your doors again, just doing chores downstairs.
You know what? I actually thought about bringing the mic downstairs, and I've got work to do. I got to urethane those doors. So I got to urethane the doors. So
one day, you guys, we're gonna do a podcast in the same exact place. We'll be in Paul's basement, which means the camera will go out on both of us and will likely freeze and die.
The internet out there is fantastic, I will say. Been testing it out. It's great.
I love it. Ooh, Chaz will be there with the hand cam, he says. So
I'm not upset about it.
There might one day be an episode where we're all 3 in the same dang spot. Wouldn't that be crazy? That'd be insane.
Bonkers.
I love it.
All right.
What's next?
Shelters. So I brought it up early because I feel like this is like there's two options for upgrading. Technically 3, but really there's 2 big options for upgrading. I think most people gravitate towards the shelter first of the 2 options. The other option being your sonar. But I think most people gravitate towards the shelter because it makes everything else more enjoyable. Like it's not a standalone benefit. Everything becomes more fun when you have a shelter. The biggest thing when you're ice fishing, it's not necessarily the temperature. It's the wind. The wind will absolutely, hands down, ruin a day like that. Or more like
as it does for kayak fishing as well.
And hunting and anything else.
But 10x that.
Yeah, and so they make a lot of shelters. They're not even insulated. They don't need to be. Your body heat is getting reflected back onto you, and you're not in the wind. That's usually enough to let you have a really good day. Shelters, there's a couple different kinds. There's some that are on sleds, and they pull over, and you sit inside of them. Those are great. Mm-hmm. They're a little more on the expensive side, and they really are only for 2 to 3 people at the absolute most. Like it's kind of a 2-person, one to 2-person thing. But it is a nice like whole package. You just jam all your crap in it into that sled. You walk out with it, flip it over, and then you fish. You don't even have to have the door closed. If it's like a medium day, you just sit in the shade.
Oh yeah. It's just the defense from the wind, right? Like it's
a big deal.
Phenomenal. But so, all right. Heavy Hook says, let's just call it lake camping. I like that. We're camping on the lake. Essentially, Yes.
For like
You
8
know,
hours. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a hole, but instead of fire being in that hole, there's icy cold
You can
water.
have a fire. You
You
can have a
can.
fire.
You can bring a heater out there. There's all sorts of stuff. Like you guys are gonna see this. It's gonna
So
happen because
yeah,
we're
oh, yeah.
getting these things. Like as we go through this list, just so you know, we're going from, I went from 0 gear last year to a lot of the basic gear to this year we're gonna have more of like a power auger system. We'll have a shelter. We might bring a heater. We're gonna be set up because
Stuff and things.
I'm committed to filming it and it's gonna be fun. I can't.
The other
Shut up,
the other
Chaz.
thing too with a shelter is another type that's really popular is a pop-up. Pop-ups are nice because they don't weigh as much. They don't have the sled underneath, so it's kind of like if you've ever hunted out of a pop-up line, deer hunting. It's like a kid's tent. You just pop it up and it can fit anywhere between 1 to 2 all the way up to like 10 to 12 people. So they've got everything between. It also seals along the ice on the bottoms, and then they use ice anchors on either side, little self-tapping screws that go into the ice to hold it in place. That is the most economical. It has the most like flexibility and variability. So like get what you want and what you need and nothing you don't. They have like pockets all over the inside. They have like a big vestibule for hanging lights. They've got windows that open up so you can get a breeze when your buddy rips one. They've got it all. The other thing too is they're made to have the most space on the floor and in the elbows with where you need it. So even if the floor space is not quite as big, you can get right up to the back of it. I've seen dudes cut 4 foot by 2 foot or 4 foot by 3 foot holes and spearfish out of them. So
we might. I'm gonna toss it out there.
We need is a chainsaw. And so it's pretty sweet. They can be very cool. And then there's like your shanties. Like they're on a trailer. Mm-hmm. They're either on wheels or on sleds, and you can drag these things out with a truck or a 4-wheeler. And it's just a tiny house. Insulation, electricity, a fireplace, like TVs, they could be nuts. Anywhere from like 10 square feet to like a small house. Mm-hmm. And then they've got the coolest setup that I've ever seen, and it's not close. It is not close. Dude has like a 28-foot trailer, like a trailer.
Yep.
Double wide, insulated. He's got it wired to a generator. He's got like couches on the whole one side, 2 TVs, a kitchenette on the inside in the front, and a bed, a fold-down bed. And then he's got holes drilled inside of it.
He's got to be in Canada.
You flip up. Yeah. You drill your hole in the ice. You fish out of it. You just close it. And when you close it, it covers the ice hole. So you can just open it up late the next day and it doesn't freeze over.
Dude, he's got to live
literally just
way up
TV
north.
And ice fish. Unbelievably awesome.
That's
so,
nuts.
Yeah, I mean, then there's everything in between. I mentioned that there's a couple of different routes that people would go to upgrade. The next one I think would be the sonar. And I say that over auger, which we'll get to, but the sonar is like, I'll be honest. The first time I went ice fishing, it made no sense. I did not understand it, and I barely caught anything at all. And the next time I went, someone had a Vexilar, which is like a brand of sonar. There are multiple kinds. Lowrance, everyone makes one, but Vexilar's kind of like the go-to for like true ice fishing only sonar. Had one, and my buddy called it an Atari, and he's like, because it turns fishing into like a video game, and it honestly is the best description I've ever heard because it totally does. You just watch marks. You like here's the thing that makes it so valuable. It's the same things that make sonar valuable in a boat. When you're in a boat and you're at a spot and you're like, are there fish here? You can find out whether or not there are fish there. And ice fishing, when you just go tap a hole and you don't know how deep it is, you're kind of guessing. Maybe you looked at a map, but you don't know, and you don't know if there are fish are down there, and you're fishing, you don't catch anything, you immediately are depressed and sad. And you immediately have like zero confidence, and like you don't want to play anymore, and you'll never catch a fish that way. Sonar just like completely solves that problem. Like Jeff and I, when we want to go fish, I'll pick a spot that I think looks good on sonar. We'll walk out to it. I'll drill a hole. I'll drop the Vexi down. And I'll be like, "Hey, sexy Vexi, what's going on?" And I'll look for those marks. If I don't see any marks, I'm like, "Jeff, why'd you drill this crap hole?" And we'll go to the next one. And then you just keep doing that until you start seeing marks, and then you start fishing. It is a hashtag game changer. And it is well worth the $250 or $300. It's everything out there. I would do that before shelter, and I did.
It's huge. I'm going to throw one option to you guys, though, that I use, which is to take if you have a fish finder, take any fish finder you have and just get the converter kit to an ice fish finder. So it works just as well. We tested them last year. Don't let Paul tell you differently. It works just as well. We'll do a side by side because we didn't do the video last year, but
we will do a side by side, and I will smoke you.
I used mine all day, the same as you used yours all day. Battery was no different, but like you can use it as a flasher and it'll work much the same way that a Vexilar will. And I'm just saying this, like if you already have a fish finder and you're not like, I want to spend like another $300 on another fish finder, you can use your same battery, your same fish finder, and you just get this converter kit from the company. So we have a Lowrance, and I just got the Lowrance. I'm just going to do that forever, by the way, now.
Lowrance.
One person one time made fun of how I said Lowrance, so I don't care.
Yeah, why do you say weird?
Lowrance. And I just got this kit. It's actually right here, and I can reach it. And it just looks like that. And then you can put your fish finder right here, and you've got your little transducer and all that jazz in there, and it holds your battery. It's pretty cool.
Pro tip, though, the reaction time is not quite as fast. You have to crank up your sonar speed. Yeah, you got to mess with the settings. And the gain doesn't work. I'll be honest, I don't think the gain works as well as it does with a real flasher. That's just my opinion. I love my flasher. It doesn't weigh anything. It works great. And the battery lasts for an eternity. There was one season I never recharged it.
That's pretty solid.
That's insane.
Anyways, if you guys want to buy a separate one, definitely do the actual flasher. If you are trying to save, you already have a fish finder, you want to spend a little bit less, you can get a conversion kit. Everybody makes them. It's not just Lowrance. They all make them. So just look at your company, whatever it is, and just type in that company ice fishing, right? Mm-hmm. And you'll have an option. Just another option that's out there.
The next one, and this one is still above auger.
I was like, we haven't even hit auger yet. Just so you guys know,
we haven't hit auger.
When you go ice fishing, you have to get through the ice, and the only way to do that is with an auger.
I know, but this is important.
Paul's just like taking steel straws, just like we're gonna get in there.
Oh, it'll happen.
Just chipping it with your ice.
Yeah, like
one day soon, 10 inches later.
we're halfway there. The seat selection is kind of a big deal. I use a 5-gallon bucket, like a just plastic Lowe's bucket, and there are these like $5 like foam seats that are meant to go on a 5-gallon bucket, and there's a little hole in the crotch where my rods stick out, and that has worked great for like 3 years. That has worked phenomenal for years.
Yeah.
And I carry a second bucket. Like that bucket sits inside of another bucket, and that other bucket is for me keeping my fish. That actually represents like 50% of the stuff that's in my sled.
Yeah. So I will throw in there, you guys, Yeti doesn't have a good seat. Surprise. So anyways, I wouldn't recommend buying a Yeti bucket and converting it to an ice bucket. However, if you did get one as a gift, it's not a bad thing to have. So I have it. I do like it for all its utility purposes, but I just want to bring a second, and I do have like a second bucket with a seat that I can bring as well. You want the cushion, and you can even get like, I might get that heated one. Although
HT baby,
like, I don't know, my bibs are pretty freaking like.
I've never used one. Don't need one.
Yeah. So anyways, so you could get like the heated seat cushion, but the cushion is important because you are spending a lot of time there. Although like you'll see in our videos, like I can't just sit there all day. So I'm often walking around, kneeling next to the hole that we drill. Yes. Like I gotta move.
I like to lay down. And
yes, that's the move, right? You'll see it. Like we just go full on, pay me like one of your French girls, and then we're just like jigging the rod, and you'll see. But that's like sometimes changing the position is just
all
like,
it takes.
It's all it takes, man. I'm like, it was because I wasn't doing this.
Yeah. Here's the thing about the seat though too. The bucket, it seems so simple, but it's elegant. It carries my dead fish. It carries a bunch of my lures. It carries my extra line, hooks. carries like 8 rods.
We're gonna need a
all
bigger
while
sled.
also supporting me comfortably for hours. And it doesn't weigh very much.
Yeah.
It's not very expensive unless you have a $50 bucket. By the way, you can just put the seat on a Yeti bucket. It'll go on there too. You're a little
The problem is the little like utility bin inside. There's not enough room. But
dump it. It's great. Dump it.
it's worthless. Plus, I keep nothing below it.
That's what I'm saying. It's but there's
But you gotta be organized.
The tackle's pared down, so I mean, like 2 buckets is enough for you to catch 50 fish and bring all of your rods and gear. I've done it for years. I prefer the sled, but the seat again underrated. It's simple, but it's also elegant. Finally, we've arrived. We can talk about the auger.
We can now drill holes.
A critical. You can't fish without it. You can't fish without it. You need an auger. Now, I have a hand auger. I've used a hand auger for the last 3 or 4 years. It works great. You want to keep the blade sharp.
You need to sharpen it, I was going to say.
Don't buy a piece of garbage, but definitely keep your blade sharp. It makes a big difference. I use a metal file just every season, and that's all it really takes. It doesn't take more than that. If you get a big chip, yeah, you get a grinder, but a metal file works great. And now there's a couple different things you want to think about. How long, like the screw portion of your auger, how long that is on your hand auger. Obviously, it weighs more, but it means you can dig deeper holes. Something to think about. The biggest thing is the width. Now, if you're after panfish, 6-inch, no big deal. If you're going after pike, you're going to want the 8-inch. And I think 10 inches is like also a standard size. Yep. That would be for like your pike, muskie, giant walleye,
trout, lake trout.
And I would definitely I recommend the 8-inch to everybody. You're gonna luck into some big fish, and you're gonna want that fish. And if you get stuck, you're gonna be upset. I hit bass all the time, every season. You're gonna want to be able to bring those puppies in. The other thing too is it can save you from having to dig 2 holes. So the transducer, right, the part that sends the signal out for your sonar, has to be in the water. And there's a cord and it goes down there. And so you have to fish around it if it's in the same hole. 8-inch hole, much easier. Rather than dig a hole and then dig another hole and fish next to it, this will save you from having to do that and make life a little bit easier. So I recommend the 8-inch. It's absolutely worth the extra weight.
So here's where we get into the differentiation of augers, right? And we're not going to go super deep into it because it's not even worth it. But there are hand augers, just so you guys know. No, I mean, it's
not working.
We're going to talk about what we're going to do. There are hand augers. There are hand augers like I think Striker Ice makes one that is like really nice, double bladed. Like as a hand auger, will cut like a hot knife through butter.
We're getting there, Josh. Good call, Joshua. Good call.
Yeah. So anyway, so you got that, and we're gonna get to that a little bit later. Then we get into what we're going to try this year. And I wanted to shout this out because we're going to do it. But we're going to use a nice DeWalt 20 volt. What is the one that you have? The XR? The XR drill. Yep. And we're going to get the auger attachment to that. And we're just going to go for it. So I've got one picked out. We're going to go for that. So that's where you get into generally $150 to $200 price range. So like hand auger, super dirt cheap, not great, maybe not worth it. Well, yeah, like you can get them for 30. It's just like it's going to be 6 inches.
I got the cheapest one. It works great.
I got the Eskimo. Did you get what's yours?
Yours is red, mine is blue. I think those are the only 2 companies out there making them.
Red or blue company. You guys got it.
It's like anyway. What was the Halo game? The Team Red, Team Blue. You remember those?
Oh yeah, Red versus Blue.
Red versus Blue. That's what it was.
By Rooster Teeth. If you guys want to go laugh a little bit, go watch the Red versus Blue series by Rooster Teeth.
With the
I love it. Love it. But yeah,
they did have
they made a series.
Good call, Charles.
Dude, hilarious show. Anyways, so yeah, hand augers pretty cheap, like $50. Top end ones that cut really well are gonna be like $100. So just make your job slightly easier. And then you get to like the drill attachments. Now you're like $150, $200. Then we get to, I'm sure Paul wants to talk about this, electric and gas augers.
So first of all, buy electric. They have more horsepower. Just so everybody knows, they have more power. They're amazing. Gases can be really great. I would recommend going electric. Now the deal is if you want to drill, if you want to like legit like chase fish and like you're not gonna sit on the same 4 or 5 holes for like, you know, a whole trip.
Right.
I do recommend getting some sort of power auger. Reason being, Gens, legend and the most legendary ice fisherman out there, has this GENZ for anyone who's Googling. He's got a system, and his system is he'll drill an X of holes, and then he'll put his fish finder down. The X of holes is usually 5 by 5. Think about digging 9 holes, right? Just think about digging 9 holes in the same spot just to test one spot.
I can tell you guys, it's the worst possible thing ever. We went out.
You sweat in your.
How thick was that ice? So we went out on a giant lake. First of all, we had to walk forever, and second of all, the ice was what, 12, 16?
It was 10 at least, 8 or 10 at least.
Like inches thick, you guys. So we had to hand drill all those gosh dang holes. We were sweating up a gosh dang storm, and it was cold. It was frigid. So that's like when it's the worst. Like you want to take your coat off, then you need to put it immediately back on.
So you don't die.
So, I mean, if you can make the investment, I'd 100,000% think you should make the investment.
The other thing to consider though is the weight. So though, like those have a lot of weight, and if you've got one of those, you probably have a shelter. That's another 50 pounds, right? And you're adding all that to a sled. I would seriously consider not doing that. You can save yourself 15 pounds alone, not taking a motor out there. So that's really the trade-off. Like guys who get power augers are typically rocking 4x4s. So if you're running a 4x4, whatever sort, like you're in the guaranteed power auger. You can get away with an electric motor, a little bit lighter. Maybe go with a lighter shelter or no shelter and just go out on nice days. You can save yourself some weight. But do you want to walk a half a mile dragging 75 pounds in the sled? Maybe not. So, whatever. You make your own decisions, but that's just something to think about.
Yeah. And by the way, anybody who like Chris Hugh is saying, man, you guys are hardcore up north, and this is like a lot of stuff that you're hearing right now. Like, I totally get that, but here's basically the option you get where we're at. You can fish for about, at best, 8 months of the year on open water, like successfully fish, like success.
Salmon in the river. But yes, point taken.
Yeah, well, I mean, then you're getting into your salmon and steelhead gear, which is also a whole different setup. So come at me, bro. And then it's basically then you just don't fish until you can again, which is an awful idea.
It's like 4 months at least minimum.
And you guys, I don't know how long winter feels for you, but for us, it's forever.
It's a decade. Every year, it's 10 years.
It's like 2 2020s, like back to back is how long winter feels if you can't do any fishing. You can only organize your tackle so much, just so much. I mean, you can do it forever, but I just want to catch a fish. So ice fishing is that thing that's totally worth the investment because it's otherwise we just don't get to do anything.
The other thing too is I remember 4 years ago, 5 years ago, one of the two, we didn't get ice on the big lakes, and we didn't get very much ice at all in the ponds. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was having withdrawals. I was I just wanted to go ice. It's fun. I'll just get a text and someone will be hey, we're going ice fishing. I'll drive a half hour, whatever. You hang out with your buddies. You if you're running tip ups and you're not jigging, literally just take your bait, put a hook in it, drop it down with a weight, let it go to wherever depth you want. You set down your little tip up, set the flag, walk away. Oh, I'm sorry. Then you walk away. And then you just go party and have fun on this big open expanse of stuff with your friends and whatever. Yep. And then just keep an eye on this blaze orange flag. And then when it goes up, got a fish, hang on. Walk over, catch your fish, have your fun, throw it in a bucket, put new bait on, throw it down, walk away. It's so much fun. I mean, I know dudes that fish that live on the lake that fish at their house and just keep binos and just I get one? Nah. Yep. Okay. Dude, it's awesome.
Yeah. It's funny. There's an apartment complex at our local pond that I go to all the time. It's like 5 minutes from my house. And there are guys during the winter. Some guy caught like a 40-inch pike out of there. It was amazing on a tip up. But like they had, a couple of tip ups out between a group of people. And yeah, they were come running down from their apartment. They're like, "Oh, I saw the flag." And they're just like, "Oh, okay, we got." And I'm just sitting over there like watching them like, "Damn, dude, I want to do that."
The other thing too about ice fishing is, you know how when you find bass in like the late fall, early spring, and they're schooled up, right? And when you find one, especially jigging, you find one, you can find 12. And when you're hammering like 10 smallmouth in one spot or 5 or 6 in a spot, it's so much fun. Like that level of fun. Imagine that with panfish, but like crank it up to like 25. So you fish a hole, and when you get on them, like that day that I sent the tip up video, there was like 30 fish already on the ice. And so I got up early that day. I was on the ice by 6 a.m. I fished the first half hour, probably caught 15 fish. Went to my second hole, never went off that hole for the rest of the day, limited out. Dudes are rolling in around 9 o'clock, which is, it's a sleep-in sport. Dudes are rolling in at 9 o'clock, and I've got this giant pile, and dudes are literally cutting holes all around me. No one's catching them, and I'm just like, what's up?
We did that on the big lake last year too, right? Like we walked, everybody on this big lake had 4-wheelers, Jeeps, shanties. People literally pulled up to us in like their quads, and they were like, "Are you okay? Like, did you get lost somewhere? You're not supposed to be out here," because we're walking, dragging sleds for miles, people. And we were catching fish, and everybody who came by us was like, "Yeah, we're not catching anything." Some guy gave us like all of his shiners and minnows. That's right. It was like, that was our last day. He was like, "Here, you have these." And we just started catching them on his own bait fish, which was awesome. But it's definitely, it's a good time. We'll talk about like how to make it more of a good time here in a second. But real quick, shout out, my dad's in chat again, you guys. Everybody say hi, Dad. TJB game, that's Dad. Hi, Dad. Anyways, let's get back to the show.
So someone called out, Joshua called out, one thing that you need to go with your auger is a slush scoop. So it's basically a ladle with holes in it. And you scoop the little ice chips that fall into your hole so that you can fish effectively. And what happens is when those little ice chunks are in the hole, they freeze together and they freeze on your line, and you'll think you're fishing. You can't feel anything because the ice has frozen your line in place, and you're just like wiggling line around. It's impossible. So critical item. You can use your hand, but that's a little bit, you're going to have a problem. Ice scoops are like $3. Okay. I have mixed feelings. They make them out of metal. They make them out of plastic.
Oh, I know your feels on this, yeah.
So plastic ones are better at removing ice. They don't freeze up nearly as much. So that is great. They are good at doing what they do. The ice ones, though, the back side of it is like a pick. It's like 2 feet longer, and it's super heavy duty, and you can use it to open up holes that are frozen. And so I like go back and forth. Like I kind of want to start carrying both. I don't know, because I hate it when the holes freeze over on the metal one, because then it's like not really doing what you want it to do. So like I go back and forth.
But I feel like with the metal one, I just hit it on the bottom of my boot and it's fine.
Bingo.
So, I mean, for sure, then like there's more pros with the metal than cons. You know what I mean? Like there's the one con, but you can knock it off on your boot. So it does more things. Usually.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So another something to think about. Next thing. Dude, I don't care what your tolerance. I don't care how thick you think your blood is. Like, get bibs. Or honestly, I fully support the full jumpsuit. Like, when it comes to warmth, play no games, take no prisoners. Full jumpsuit, you zip it down, you take the top off, you tie the things around your waist, and now you are with everybody else. I prefer bibs. I like all the extra buttons. It keeps the coldness from creeping up your back. That's the biggest thing by far. So when you sit down, you don't have it drafting up. There's no warmth on planet Earth such as
the full suit.
Like the freaking full suit with the hood. You can't beat it. Carhartt is like that's my go-to. I had the Extreme. Striker Ice makes the sickest bibs. I think that's what you have, right, Jeff?
Yep.
They're disgustingly
They're
cool.
phenomenal. Like
now the coats come with line cutters, so
yeah,
you're welcome.
the new coats are insane. But yeah, I have the Striker Ice bibs, which as I told you guys earlier in the show, have like your pants on fire. Like there's literally a campfire on your bum at all times. So I didn't actually need a seat cushion. I just sat on like the flat plastic lid for the Yeti that I have, and it was fine because they're like cushioned, they're heated. It's amazing. I don't know how they do it. Magic of some sort of sorcery for
It's
sure.
actually called science, but continue.
Nope, no such thing. So, anyways, they're super comfortable. They're super comfortable. Definitely love those, and I can just tell you guys from experience, this is the area. This is one of a few where you have to spend the money. Like if you want to be warm and happy, unless you can, if you got shelter, if you got a shanty, if you can fish from your house with tip ups, like Paul was saying, like great, you can do that. If you're going to be sitting out there, or you're going to do what we did last year, the first year I got to Tessie's, and you got the first lake we fished,
30 mile per hour winds,
just
in a snowstorm,
like in a blizzard, and
14 degrees.
Second day it was still 14 degrees, but no wind at least, and still super rough. Like the cold will get to you. It'll creep up on you. Spend the money. Like you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars, but you got to spend like $100. Case in point, the first pair of bibs that I bought, I got a story for you guys. I just like whatever, put together some gear because Paul was taking me ice fishing for the first time, right? And I got from was it Tractor Supply Co. It's
the
like
car sharks.
I got these car sharts, right? So we call them the car sharts because they're knockoff Carhartts, so they're called the car sharts. But they were the worst thing I've ever worn. They're like warm, like you put them on when you're in a house, and you're like, these are gonna be warm. But then you go outside, and it's almost like the material sucks in all the cold and then presses it to your flesh, and then turns moist, and then freezes, and then you die. So basically, we're out there, and I was just like, bro, like I can't. I'm trying. We're like 8 hours in. I'm like, I'm literally gonna die.
I think we're like 4 hours in. But yeah. Go on.
It felt like 20. For like 3 days on the ice.
We had to go get my guy some chili and a hot sandwich, and then we went back out.
so bad. And yeah, we did go back out. But then follow up, like we went on that big trip. I had the Striker Ices, and like, dude, life changed. I sat out there all day, no problem. This is like, if you look at the picture that I posted on the channel, it's that gear. Like that's what I was wearing. So I had the Striker Ice, and then I have the what's the Cabela's brand? It's like there's Striker Ice, and then there's Strike Master, not Cabela's brand, but there's Strike Master, right? Yeah. So Strike Master is like just a step below Striker Ice in terms of price. So you can get like a good combo with that, or like Clam makes some stuff, or like
the Clam stuff's awesome. Frable, there's a bunch of brands. The one thing I would really want people to look at is you don't need to be waterproof. It certainly is nice. You don't need it. Water, just anything remotely water. You're not gonna be out in the rain. I mean, you're just not. So
it's just when you're kneeling next to a hole you've drilled, like having the knee reinforced.
So that's what I was going to get to. The biggest thing with the bibs is two pockets, but one knee reinforcement. I kneel a lot of the times while I'm ice fishing, and you don't want it to be getting wet or to be getting wear, because ice will just shred kind of like standard like hunting bibs and stuff. They'll just get shredded. So I use Carhartt Extreme. I've never been cold. I've never been wet. I've never been upset, and I've been rocking them for years, and they're great. They are.
Is that their slogan?
That should be, dude. That was good.
Never be cold, never be wet.
Never been wet, or never been cold, never been wet, never been upset, dude. That's legit.
That's the shirt right there.
But I use them for a lot of I'm like a home project walking addiction, and I use them for that in the winter all the time. They are fantastic. So they do a lot of double duty for me, and so does the coat. I have the coat that goes with it, and dude, I've never had an issue. So there are options out there. Those are definitely cheaper though. Those are in like the $150 range, and you can use them for anything, and they will last a lifetime. But the knee reinforcement, you got to have the knees, or else you're just gonna shred whatever you're wearing. Sure. Gloves. I might do a whole episode on gloves. I will just give you I only have two recommendations to make.
Uh-huh.
One, if you're gonna get okay, I have 3. If you're going to get a really good pair of gloves, they better be Gore-Tex, and they better be relatively soft. You do not want stiff gloves. You want softer gloves for sensitivity and for dexterity. You don't want to take them off unless you have to. The only time I take off gloves, like 5-finger gloves, is when I'm tying a lure and I put them right back on. You do not want to be taking gloves on and off. Big puffy gloves are going to ruin a lot of your sensitivity. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's going to be a problem for you. But I do recommend them on cold days. I have mine. I'll get them in a second. On the flip side, Walmart, Meijer, wherever you buy just generic store goods, will carry wool blend, flip top mitts.
Fingerless. Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, there's only one big drawback to those. And that's sometimes you'll get a hook stuck in those mittens, and you will be very, very upset. But other than that, you can wear the mitten the whole time. You flip the top to tie your knots. You flip it back. You're fishing again. When they get wet, because they're wool, when they get wet, you don't get cold. So I've reached in, hands in the water, grabbed fish out, frozen water, had frozen gloves, and still had like some heat retention. So that is like a $15-$20 option. Highly, highly, highly recommend. I honestly wouldn't go get anything else. It's not worth it. Most times you keep your hand in your pocket. It's not a big deal. You absolutely should bring gloves. I don't recommend thin gloves. It's just not even, I'd rather just fish with no gloves and switch hands. It's not worth it. Flip top mittens that's my deal.
They have some pretty gosh dang high tech ones now that are like the neoprene lined ones that also have the flip down fingers for like your main 2, where you have the sensitivity where you're holding the rod or where you're feeling the line. So you can get those as well. So the ones I've seen, these are like $50, but they're thinner. They give you the sensitivity. They've got like the nitrile covering on the front, so you get like some grip with it in case you get wet, blah, blah, blah. But like they have the 2 flip down fingers and the flip down thumb, which can be really helpful for sensitivity. So you can check that out. This is also where Paul's gonna laugh at this one, but like I am somewhat of a genetic anomaly here where like everything else on me gets cold before my hands. So last year, this super cold trip, I barely wore my gloves, like barely wore them, and he didn't know why. But also at the same time, my feet were completely frozen, even though they were inside of my boots. So there's some drawbacks to my superpower, all right, bro. But like
I rock. So these are the gloves that I wear. These are Mountain Hardware. They have they have good sensitivity in the palm, which I really like. You can use your phone with them, which shockingly is great because you're taking your gloves off less. They come up really high, which I really like, and they have the cuff pull, which is actually a pretty big deal. The most important thing is that when I put them on, you get a nice tight fit in the palm. What I do is I grab my rod by the reel, and so the rod's hanging off the front, and I'm grabbing the reel. So I feel the sensitivity right here in the tip of my finger, but with that good palm sensitivity, I'm feeling as much as I can wearing a big puffy glove, actually holding the reel. But the biggest thing, honestly, though, reach in, grab fish, no problem. Gets wet on accident, no problem. Gets frozen, no problem. I'm not going to get my hands wet. That's really the biggest thing. Gore-Tex is like, you want to talk about science? It's like science magic. That's science magic.
Good gear, you won't be pissed. Like that's it. Like, because I've been out there very upset because of bad gear. So it's almost like you invest a small portion into the bad gear, then you find out it's bad gear, then you hate it, then you go get the good gear. So now you've like doubled your investment. Like you're spending more money.
That's why I think it's really important to know kind of tips. Like to me, the flip top mittens was like one of the best tips I ever got. $15-$20. I've been using them for years. There's blood all over them from dead fish, but they're still the best. Honestly, they're the best fishing glove that I have. Period. I use them every day for everyday wear, but I use them for ice fishing. Like that's why I got them. That's what I use them for. Yeah. I'm gonna skip the next one. I'm gonna skip lures because we're already at like freaking hour.
We'll do a lures episode.
Yeah. Do a whole that's the whole thing. Yeah, I'm skipping
hour 30. That's
we're dying.
It, 90 minutes.
I'm skipping tip ups We already talked about tip ups. We'll do another one later when we do lures.
Lure
I'm skipping that. I talked a little bit. There's a couple things that need covering though. We already talked about. My next section was like creature comforts. So I talked about 4x4s. These next things. This is like what makes things really fun and a little bit unique to, I think, to separates it from like normal fishing. Great example. Snacks and drinks. So you can bring a crap ton of food with you and it's totally okay. You don't have to worry about it. If it fits in the sled, it ships. It's great. I personally, I like to bring the big thermos, and I like to bring the big thermos with hot soup.
So amazing.
Hard to beat. Really hard. Like spicy chili, hard to beat on the ice. Like I'm telling you, really hard to beat on the ice. My grandma every year she mixes a bunch of liquors together and then gives them to people as gifts. Everyone gets like a bottle. Neither of my brothers have ever drank it, so I take theirs. My dad's never drank it, so I take his. My wife gets one. She's not drinking it, so I get that. I end up with like 6 or 7 bottles of this stuff, and it all gets drank during ice fishing.
Yep.
It's phenomenal. Can't be beat. But like having your own bevies, that's the way to absolutely do it. And I would also recommend, we talked about like other gear. I don't want to get into boots, but you absolutely, like, if gloves are important, if bibs are important, Jeff will tell you boots that are waterproof and have enough insulation are critically important.
So I have like the minus 40 degree certified bogs. They're like the insulated neoprene boots. And I got to tell you guys, they're not minus 40 rated. That's some nonsense right there. Because in 14 degrees, my toes felt like they were gone already. So, I mean, like we went into a bar and I took my boots off to heat them up in the bar. It was the literal worst. So this year, I'm going to invest. I'm going to get some Lacrosses, some really nice ones with the 1,600 gram Thinsulate insulation, and we're going to be good. I'm going to be toasty this year. You guys just wait, because I got a lot of filming to do. I got to be able to think and be like in the zone. So I don't need to be thinking about how my feet are going to fall off, because that would be the worst.
You'll get what's the version of hangry when your foot gets cold? It's not good. It's got to be worse.
Fangry.
Yeah, it's not good. I've been rocking the Mickey Mouse boots. I'll take a picture of them and post them on Instagram. Remind me when we're done. They're old military surplus boots. They're using the 50s. They are just layers on layers of felt and rubber, and they just trap air, and they're phenomenal. They're also relatively inexpensive, but they're kind of tough to find. The last thing I want to cover, and this is another overlooked item. Sunglasses.
Oh, I knew it was coming back.
My God. Like there's, and it's not just for what you think. Like, oh, I get it. Light reflecting off the ice on a sunny day. It would be real bright. I'd like to be able to, dude, eye strain is like a legit, I've gotten headaches from just dealing with the amount of sunlight that is like out there. You're just like protecting yourself from like that. I never thought eye strain was a thing until ice fishing, actually, which is ironic, because people talk about it when you're like on the ocean. No, ice fishing, you absolutely will get it. I have gotten to the point where I'm like, I need to leave. Like, I have to go. My head hurts.
It's throbbing.
You're gonna want, and I'm not talking about like amber freaking. No, I'm talking about like super reflective, silver or black lenses. Like you need like legit eye protection. And like I wear a lot of times a hat with the beanie over it.
Right. No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It definitely helps out. But yeah, polarized sunglasses are kind of a must. Just like with regular fishing, like, open water conditions, it helps you see fish, it helps you see structure and all of that, as well as, less glare off the surface of the water. But it's just tenfold. If you guys have never gone like skiing or snowboarding, like you got to understand, that is a huge thing for like when you go on the slopes, you need
goggles, man.
Your goggles, man. Plus, not to mention, like when we were on that one lake, if we didn't have glasses when that blizzard was blowing through, eyeball daggers.
No, what happens is my dainty eyelashes,
and then they freeze
your breath coming up.
Booger beard.
Yeah, you get the booger beard, but as the hot air passes it creates condensation on your eyelashes, and it freezes your eyes shut. It's not good.
No, that's the literal worst. I got a second, like the coffee, but also like the other blood warming feeling liquids that you can bring out on the water as well. So like the coffee whiskey mix, you guys, game changer.
Hold please. You can level that up though. You keep your alcohol of choice separate. Mm-hmm. And when you go to the I'm a Speedway guy.
Oh,
we got one in town. We got a Speedway in town. Love the Speedway in town. Here's what I do. I bring my thermos, big boy, BOI, big boy. I bring my thermos, old school, and I do 50% of the piping hot Colombian. It's one of my favorites. And then you go over to French vanilla, and that's just the sugar juice, the hot sugar juice. Mm-hmm. And you fill up the rest of it. You get a 50-50 good caffeine, just like supercharge, but you also get delicious sugar. And then, after you've had a couple sips of that just to warm up, then you bring in the fun stuff and you just kind of top her off, shake it a little bit. You'd be rolling. I'm imparting some knowledge on you right there.
It is an amazing tip. We've done it on trips. It is a game changer, but also drive safely, people. Please. If you drove to the ice, and also do safe things on the ice, please.
Thank you. I was just about to say, do safe things on the ice. There are 2 pieces of equipment that are safety related that are important. One that's probably the most common would be little Trax. I think Trax is the brand, but they're cleats that you strap on to the bottom of your boots, give you a lot more traction. And then were something to happen where you fall through the ice, you can prevent that by not going on ice that is less than 4 inches thick, and you'll never have a problem. But should something crazy happen, a lot of folks like to wear, it's kind of like a necklace. There's just these picks, and they're just spikes with plastic handles. Should you fall through the water, you've got these kind of right where you need them above the water, so you don't have to reach down under the water to get them. And then you have some grip to self-arrest. And then if you were to, go ahead.
Really good bibs and coats have flotation systems in them.
Really good.
Just saying. Really I actually, my leg fell through the ice last year because I walked on less than 4-inch thick ice. Well, it was actually it was heating in certain areas. So it'd be super thick and fine. And then you walk 5 feet to the left and it was you're in the water now. So if you see pooling water in areas, generally not a good thing, should be cautious. But I was being dumb and I walked over there and I was by myself, but my leg punched through, but had the good bibs on, had the good boot on, actually didn't get wet. Leg went up to my hip, did not get wet. Pretty fantastic. Was able to sprawl out, just get wide, right, and pull myself up. I do carry the picks with me at all times. I do think that they're good, and you just wear them down around the neck of your coat. It's not they don't choke you. They're not against your skin. It's just worth having. Just be smart. You are on the water.
Literally.
Water will win.
That's an extremely long and drawn out way of saying ice fishing can be super fun. You definitely there's some gear you're going to want to get. If all you have is an auger, one rod, and a bucket, you're actually good to go.
Yeah.
But I think we'll cover some more later. And hopefully when we do some filming this season, you can see why it's fun. That's the grand plan there.
We covered the vast majority of main staple gear. We'll get into the actual fishing of that, because guess what? We still got time till we got ice anyways. So, we'll get you guys prepped for it. But in the meantime, if you guys want to learn more about ice fishing, see ice fishing in action, just go on YouTube, look up ice fishing. There's tons of videos. And,
don't do that. Let us know.
Well, if you want to learn more stuff, we'll talk about it on the show. So let us know questions you have. Let us know topics and stuff you guys want us to cover. Obviously, there will be ice fishing action coming your way whenever there's ice, or we travel up north, or whatever the heck we're going to do. We'll figure out some plans. We'll make some stuff happen. All right, you guys. So at this point, I do want to let you know, if you want to be on Heavy Hook Sets, tag us on Instagram. If you want to send us a story, send it to podcast@burlyfishing.com. And if you want to send us stuff and things that you'd maybe like unboxed on the channel, I just set up a P.O. box today. So there's a P.O. box now. You guys can send it to P.O. Box 262, Lowell, Lowell. Chaz typed this in chat for me.
Is this Lawrence?
Just like Lawrence is Lowell, but it's in Michigan, zip code 49331. Keep it channel friendly, obviously. And, if you want to send us like plastics or fishing tackle and stuff that you guys make, cool. I'm all for it. If it's like a legitimate kit or you have a good cause, or, the customization that you're doing to it is amazing, I'm definitely going to do a singular unboxing. But if it's more like plastics, little things, like DIY projects, stuff like that, one-off things, I'll kind of combine that into a larger channel unboxing. So it might be like several people within one video. So just so you guys know, but I would definitely give you a shout out, open your stuff on camera. I will be as kind and honest as I can. So don't be afraid. I'm going to be nice. I don't bite. But if you want to send stuff in, now we have an opportunity to do that. And I'll keep that in all my channel descriptions for the video, so you guys can see that as well. Cool. Any other? I think we covered like a bajillion shout outs today. We'll make less shout outs next week, I promise. But again, we'll be back. Don't look at me that way. You do a shout out one time. I'm stuck over here carrying all these shout outs, bro.
I'm the one who reminded you of the 7 that took us to 9:35.
So anyway, we'll get back next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, same place, same time. Come join us live. Talk to us in chat. We're going to have a good time again. You can bring your pops back. And, of course, if you guys like the show, subscribe, smash that like, ring that notification bell, subscribe on podcasts anywhere. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all those other places. And maybe drop us a 5-star on the podcast if you'd be so kind. It's been fun hanging out with you guys tonight. Chaz, get us the heck out of here before my dad embarrasses me.
Took a swing at a wrecking ball and I prayed for my downfall and I found a way to reconcile, 'cause in my heart it's not worthwhile. It's a bloody battlefield where sun go down, others heal. In the end it's all the same. All you can do is play the game. Oh, do we say goodbye? Refuse to question why. I'm sad to say I'm sorry, so lie. Pretend that you're okay. Swear that you will stay. Keep trying for one day. I'm sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. There's nothing left for me to hide. Don't wanna live a lie. Too many lows, too many highs. Too many things to criticize. And so I leave it all behind. Don't wanna live a lie. Life kept spitting at my feet and forced me down a dead-end street when all I had went up in flames, burning only dark remains. I cover up every part of my skin, oh, 'cause I don't like the person within, oh. I know I'm the one to blame. All I can do is take the shame, oh. Do we say goodbye? Refuse to question why. I'm too sad to say I'm sorry, so lie and pretend that you're okay. Swear that you will stay. Keep trying for one day. Whoa, I'm sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. There's nothing left for me to hide. Don't wanna live a lie. Too many lows, too many highs. Too many things to criticize. So I leave it all behind. Don't wanna live a lie. A lie.
I capsize. Oh no. I got enough of every melody, they all sound the same. Yeah. For my broken heart, no remedy, but maybe if you stay, we can get away with it. 'Cause you make me love my imperfections, answer all my questions, just to show me what's on the other side of inhibition. No apologies, my baby. I do you do 'cause I'm feeling so good. Ooh. I do you do 'cause I'm feeling so good. Ooh. Oh, my darkest memories, now let me fall back. But you'll be there, ready to rescue me if I go out of track. We can get away with it, 'cause you